Welcome to this video explaining the rules of Mythicals. Before we begin, note that this game is colorblind friendly and that every color in the game is associated with a symbol that appears on the cards, the tiles and the board. Mythicals is a game for 2 players, ages 8 and up, with games lasting around 15 minutes. The Mythicals, elemental creatures that feed on the magic of air, water, earth and fire, only reveal themselves under the moonlight. You have until dawn to observe them, harness the magic of the elements and win the game. But before we teach you the rules of the game, let's take a look at the setup. Place the 3 board sections in the center of the table in this order. Sort the tiles by color. Place them face up in the corresponding columns on the board. In each column, arrange the tiles in ascending order of victory points. Place the bonus tokens in the designated area of the board. Set the day card aside and shuffle all the other cards. Each card exists in 2 copies and shows a color and a value from 1 to 5, or a wild card that can replace any value from 1 to 5. Deal 2 cards face up to each player. These form your collection. Important: if the second card is the same color as the first, place it back into the deck and draw a new one until you have 2 cards of different colors. Next, draw 8 cards and add the day card to them. Shuffle them face down, then place them under the remaining cards to form the draw pile. Leave some space below the board for the reserve, and above the board for the discard pile. You're now ready to play. Starting with a randomly chosen player, the game is played in turns until the day card is drawn. On your turn, you must first collect cards, and then, using your cards, you may take a mastery tile that earns you victory points. First, you must collect cards either from the draw pile or from the reserve. If you collect cards from the draw pile, reveal the top 3 cards in the center of the table. From these 3 cards, take all the cards of the same color and add them to your collection. Then place any remaining cards in the reserve, under the corresponding columns on the board. In both your collection and the reserve, always place cards face up, sorted by color and stacked so their values remain visible. You may freely rearrange the order of the cards. If you collect cards from the reserve, take all the cards of one color from the reserve and add them to your collection. This action is therefore not possible if the reserve is empty. After collecting cards, check your collection. If you have 2 identical cards, that is, 2 cards with the same color and value, immediately give one of them to your opponent, who adds it to their own collection. You may then, if you wish, take a mastery tile. Note that you may only take 1 per turn. To take a tile, you must discard the number of cards shown on the board next to each tile. The higher the number, the more victory points the tile is worth, from 2 to 13 points. Let's take a closer look at the board. To take these tiles, you must discard a sequence of 2, 3, 4 or 5 cards of the corresponding color. A sequence consists of cards with consecutive values. You must always discard your cards face down from your collection. For example, you can discard your red 1 card and a wild card to take this mastery tile. If there are any bonus tokens on the tile, keep them in front of you next to your tiles. Each bonus is worth 1 additional point. Form a stack with your mastery tiles. You may never look through these stacks, nor the discard pile. To take this tile, you must discard a sequence of 5 cards and the wild card of the same color. For example, you can discard all your red cards to take it. Finally, to take these tiles, you must discard 2, 3 or 4 cards with the same value but of different colors. For example, you can discard your red 1, blue 1 and green wild card to take this tile. When you take a mastery tile, you may then strengthen or lock another tile on the board. To strengthen a mastery tile, choose a face-up tile and place 1 or 2 bonus tokens on it to increase its value by 1 point per token. Each tile can hold a maximum of 2 tokens. To lock a mastery tile, choose a tile with no bonus token and flip it to its locked side. This tile can still be taken, but it can no longer be strengthened during the game. Your turn is now over, and it's your opponent's turn to play. The end of the game is triggered when the day card appears among the 3 drawn cards. Set it aside, then the player whose turn it is collects 1 or 2 cards of the same colour from the 2 remaining cards. They may also, if they have the required cards, take a mastery tile. The game is then over. Calculate your score by adding the value of your mastery tiles and your bonus tokens. The player with the highest score wins the game. In case of a tie, play another game to break it. There you go. You're ready for your first game of Mythicals.